If you're looking to make more money, advance in your career, grow your business, or experience more fulfilling success rather than just the pushing and the forcing and the doing success that looks good on paper but feels terrible inside, and you're hoping that Feng Shui can help you do that, you're looking to Feng Shui to help you create that, welcome to my channel. That's what I help high-level entrepreneurs and ambitious career professionals do. Second, the most important part to actually that working, for that process to work, for your Feng Shui adjustments, the repositioning, repurposing in your space that you do, you need an accurate Bagua map. A Bagua map is that pie-shaped thing over your house that has 8 different directions. And maybe you've already heard, you've been hearing like, do this in the north, do this in the south, or maybe you've been watching my monthly success forecast where I'll say something like, use the north this month because that's where the money energy is. Go to the northeast this month if you need help and inspiration as you're writing your book. Go to the south, use that direction if you're looking to make relationships and get on podcasts to grow your business. Avoid the west and don't sign papers there, and don't work there this month because there's a lot of conflict energy. When you're in your house, most people, what they do is they stand with their phone. They'll like see a Feng Shui tip and they'll be like, oh, okay, cool. And then they'll stand with their phone in their house and they'll be like, that's north, that's south. But when you're just using your phone and you're just standing in different areas of your house, it's too broad. It doesn't break down. It's not accurate. You need to create a Bagua map. You do this once and you can Feng Shui for the rest of your life as long as you're living in that space with this one Bagua map. You just have to do it once, but it has to be accurate. And that's what I'm going to walk you through today. I'm creating this video for anybody who fits that bill, looking to hit those goals and experience more fulfilling success. You need a Bagua map. And also people taking the Optimized Office Immersion program, where we're going to specifically be Feng Shuiing for your money making and career success in your office. So you're going to create a large Bagua map that goes over your entire house, and then we need to shrink it down to your office because you have things like a lucky career and success direction, a lucky relationships direction, and that's great if we're activating those in the larger scope of your house, but then we want to activate them even more potently within your office. And so this video, I take people through, sometimes it really stumps people when you can't find the center of your house if it's like a weird shape. So I take you guys through 5 different house shapes, help you find the center no matter the shape. Do you cut it? Do you fill it? You'll get what I mean as we're going through this. And then I help you shrink that Bagua map down to fit your office as well. If Feng Shuiing your office for money making and career success sounds appealing to you, then join us for the Optimized Office group program. Check the link for times. Okay, now we're going to get into, we're switching modes where I move my phone and we're going to draw this and we're going to work through it together. You have already, or you should have already, watched the video about how to take an accurate compass reading. You need to know the direction your house is facing. I will also link that video here and I will link the video below in case this one is inaccurate. I will link a better one below, but watch that first. You need to know what direction your house is facing. For example, this house facing 105 degrees east 3. Write that down because then we're going to orient your compass and draw the directions from there. You'll notice that to create a Bagua map, you need to have a floor plan. Ideally, you have a floor plan. That's like best case scenario. If you don't, the second best case scenario is you go to Google Earth, you find your house, you put it in aerial view like this, where you're looking at your roof from Google Earth. You take a screenshot of your house. In this case, this is random houses I found in Texas, and then we'll create the Bagua map from there. Ideally, what's great about having a floor plan is that the proportions are accurate, and so that means it's even more accurate when we put the pie wedges over your house, that it's all proportional. We know exactly what's in the east, exactly what's in the northeast, but don't overthink it. Do the best you can. Energy is fluid, so if you're a few millimeters or inches off, it's not the end of the world. We all start somewhere. And if you need to just go straight to Google Earth, find your house, print it off. Let's run with this momentum. Okay, how exciting. New phone, new cords, new setup, new angles. How exciting. You can hear me good, let's hope. So this is take 2 actually. So I've got 2 different homes here for a couple different reasons. The purpose of this video is so we can find the center of your house, because you have to find the center to create your Bagua map. Okay, this is my hand-drawn one from like 12 years ago. This is what a Bagua map is. We need to find the center of your house so that we know which direction your house is facing, so that we know where your office is, because we're ultimately going to be feng shuiing for your office, and we need to know which direction your office is in. Most people, they stand in their house and they're like, oh, my house faces north. But when you shrink down the Bagua map, people are standing over here and they say north because the macro is north. But when you actually measure this down and shrink down the Bagua map, you might be more like in the northeast. Whereas just a compass on your phone standing in the middle of the house will tell you north. Does that make sense? So this is really, really an important, crucial step to having, like, getting your feng shui to work for you. And ultimately, as we feng shui for your office, like, this is a very important step. Note on your house where the front door is. That's important. Your house is most likely facing where the front door is facing. So in this case, the front door is facing this way, even though this one is centered and this one is off-centered, the house is facing the driveway. This house is facing the road. Well, actually, this is Texas, so their driveways are back here, but this one has a driveway. But either way, there's a road up here. Both of the houses are facing the road. I have a whole other video about how to find the facing direction. Like if you're in an apartment, if you're in a like Miami oceanfront, two-story, three-story, and your whole back of your house is all glass. Go watch that video if your house is not similar to these. But chances are, like if you just look at your house, does it look like the front is facing the road? Then your house is facing this way. Okay, the energy and life force, energy and chi are coming to your front door. Okay, so the next thing we need to know is I've got two homes here shaped different ways. And then actually I also, right in these guys' backyard were these three different homes that are shaped all different ways. So I'm gonna show you all three. So don't worry just stay tuned for which one your house is most like, and we'll talk about it. Okay, so in this case, if you don't have a floor plan, you can go straight to aerial view in Google and you can find your home in Google. Go in aerial view like this. I just searched random homes in Texas and then I took a screenshot, printed it in a Word document. If you already have floor plans, fantastic. Use those because you'll be able to really easily see the corners of this roof line. Here in aerial view, you have to look under the trees. So I know that the roof line comes here. I know it comes here, here, here. This white thing is not a part of the roof. And I know this one comes here, 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 here. Okay. So for this, if your house is like this, great feng shui if you just have a nice wide square rectangle house. That's amazing. If you're on the market to buy a house, get one of those. Because this area is more of it is missing, like let's say this is void, this is fill. Since there's more of the void, we're gonna chop this off and not count this. This is not a part of the house. And now we're just going to connect these four corners. So here, again, this is like, the more accurate you are with creating your Bagua map, the more accurate your feng shui is going to be. And then I'm going to draw a perpendicular line. In this case, the door is here, but no matter what, I'm just creating a perpendicular line. And then if your house is like this, I would say this one still has more like nothing than something. So I'm gonna cut this off as well. This, there's like a little bit, such a little bit that I'm gonna cut that off. So here's our actual roof line. And I'm going to connect. This is such a little bit too. I'm going to cut that off. So we're connecting from here to here. We're not orienting to the door. We're just orienting to the face of the house, so perpendicular to the house. I also have a video on how to take a compass reading, and I'll link that. You should have already done that in this step. And let's say our compass reading is 320 degrees northwest. But that step should have already happened as well, and I'll link that video. Okay, and then if your house is one of these, so this is a little bit trickier, right? Here, we can see the roof comes here and here. I would say this is more than this emptiness, so we're gonna fill, and we're gonna pretend the roof comes out to here. And then this, there's more nothing than something. It is really tricky when it's this close, but we're gonna cut this off. So now we are connecting these corners. This is the front of the house. Let's say the front door is there, and this is the front of the house. Okay, what about this one? We see the roof line. So this, there is more something than nothing. So we're going to fill it, and we're going to carry it this way and cut this off. Other corners here. So now we're making this as something. We're including it. So we found our larger rectangle, our larger square, and we are finding the center. And then here we have more nothing than something. So we're gonna cut this off. But we already kind of did one of these. So this was an example of fill, because this and this, there's more stuff than nothing. So you fill it. Here, more something than nothing, so you fill it. More nothing than something, so you cut it. More nothing than something, so we cut that. We already have something like that one. Okay, back to our first example. So if 320 degrees northwest is the direction our home is facing. Okay, take 3. There was like an enormous, this was all off-centered. It was driving me nuts. I didn't want to put you guys through that. So if there's some overlap, bear with me, because this is another take for it to be more efficient, make more sense, and be more centered for you. So in this home where we left off, 320 degrees northwest is the direction that we're facing. You're gonna take your compass. There's a link in the description of this video where I made one for you, because you want one that has east, southeast, south, not just south, north, east, and west. You need all of the sub-directions. That's not super easy to find online, and so there's a link in the description of this video for you to get your own. Okay, you're going to line up the crosshairs of the center of your compass with the crosshairs or with the center of your house. I've also forgotten. So there was an office right here. Trace paper is super helpful, but especially if you're gonna go large and then go small, because it gets really confusing if there's a bunch of lines on here and then a bunch of lines in here. So you go ahead and use trace paper or some kind of, like if you're doing it on the computer, you can just, I really recommend doing it on the computer, because then you can just do it in PowerPoint, copy, paste, and then you have the layers in there. But if you're doing it by hand, you probably want some trace paper. And you can hold it up to, you can also like hold it up on a window and use it as like a light board. This is our perpendicular line. Again, sorry if I'm redrawing some of this, because I just spent like 3 hours editing and then realized it was crap and had to redo it. Okay, so 320 degrees, crosshairs, center, and then we're gonna find 320 degrees northwest in our compass. That's right here. Center it and center it. I'm gonna pull this one that I've already drawn, but it's okay. I'm gonna take you guys through it. Then you don't have to sit through all the drawing. But this is, so you see this is the outline of the building, of the house. even though we cut this, but that was just to find the center of our house, okay? But we're still gonna keep it. We're still using it when we feng shui. It will now be a part of this wedge. We don't ignore it when you're actually applying feng shui. So then I had this in the center, northeast or northwest 320. And then I drew my orange lines. I drew here, 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 removed it, and then connected, removed the compass, and then connected it this way. The orange lines are not going to match these black lines. These were just to find the center. The orange lines will be different, which is why it's nice to have this trace paper so that all the lines don't get confusing. So now when you feng shui, you know, and I say something like use the north. Well, maybe if you had stood here, your phone still would have said north, but when you have a Bagua map over it, you see where north actually is, northwest actually is. So if I say use the north in April, you would know that this part of your house is the north. Now we know your office is in the southeast, but in a minute we're going to talk about how to shrink this down, because you have lucky career and success directions, lucky relationship directions, and not only do we want to activate those in the larger sense, but we also want to activate those in the more zoomed in sense when you're looking to feng shui your office to make more money and for career success, okay? So that is the Bagua map for this one. This is the one that so spectacularly keeps giving me trouble. It was like completely off-centered and it was a mess, and I'm not gonna put you through it. Okay, so here is this. Let's go ahead and let me draw in an office. Larger so you can see. Okay, you're gonna take your trace paper and more neatly than me, outline your house. (105° east 3). This is our perpendicular line. Doesn't matter where the door is. House faces 105° east 3. Crosshairs matched up with the center of the house. Really hold it steady. Tape it down if you can. Okay, remove this and then connect your lines. All right, because we know this is east, southeast, south, southwest, west, northwest, north, northeast. So now here is our Bagua map for this. And our office, while it kind of falls in the south, kind of falls in the southwest, we will shrink down a separate Bagua map. Okay, so if you are making a Bagua map for your whole house, you have done that. Now, if you're going to feng shui your office for money making and career success and joining the Optimized Office group program or the Optimized Office immersion, this is what we need to do next. So you have the macro, you have the vision, you have the bigger one, and you're gonna do everything you just did from this Bagua map, and you're gonna apply it to your office zoomed in. So you're going to then find the center of your office again, or you're going to find the center again. So this is the center of the house, and now we need to find the center of your office. If this is your office, you have a pretty easy rectangle. The house is facing the same way. Doesn't matter where your door is. It doesn't matter where your windows are. This is facing the same as the house. So here's your perpendicular line. Here's your center. This home is facing 320 degrees northwest. So we're taking our crosshairs, finding northwest, lining it up with finding 320 degrees, finding 320 degrees, lining the perpendicular line up with 320 degrees. And then it is like off the page, so you just have to work around it. So I'm gonna write my orange line here, here, and then I'll connect this way. And you're going now in the center of the office, not the center of the house, when you connect your orange lines. I switched to the red marker because it's easier to see. Now we look at this and say, northwest is this one, right? And this is why trace paper is helpful. But now we know that northwest is here, north is here, northeast is here, east is in this one. Another reason this is helpful on the computer is because then you can like zoom in on this and you can blow it up. But if you know how to do it by hand, you'll know how to do it by a computer even easier. So now when we are in the group program and say your desk is over here, but maybe the energy in the east in your office isn't good, and I'm like, move it to the north, you know the north is here in your office versus larger picture. If we do this space now and this is the office, it's a very similar thing. Now here, you're like, what do I do? If it's this even, where this side of something is about the same size of nothing, then you're gonna just cut it in the middle. Rather than fully cut it off or fully fill it, you're just going to find the happy medium, use this. This is now your center. Perpendicular line, the house is still facing this way. So your perpendicular line is still going this way. And another wonderful thing about doing this on the computer is that it's already going to be turned the right way, so you can just move it over. There won't be any returning. But again, if you know how to do this by hand, you'll know how to do this by the computer. So we're looking for east 105 degrees. Lining 105 degrees up, crosshairs meeting crosshairs, 105 degrees lining up here with our perpendicular line. I'm gonna use red because it's easier to see. All right, we're still using this as the center as we connect. So see this now? We've got east. We know that east is this one in this wedge. And we know that southeast is this wedge. South here. Southwest. West. Northwest. North. Northeast. So again, if your desk, say your desk was over here in the northwest and I was like, nope, money energy that's great for you is in the south. Now you know to move it over here in this direction. Okay, that's how you overlay a Bagua map by hand onto your floor plan, and you can successfully feng shui from here. Now when I tell you move this over into the north, use the east, whatever switching up is happening, because your space, Bagua Map will always say the same, but energy changes every day, every month, every year. We don't worry about every day because we would drive ourselves nuts, but we definitely care about what's going on for the year, how to use the good energy to our advantage, avoid the bad energy, and create that money, that career advancement, grow our businesses in a more fulfilling way using this energy tool. I hope to see you in the next monthly success forecast. If you have any questions about this process, comment them below, and welcome to Feng Shuiing.